Chicopee now, where the second driver involved in the fatal Abbey Memorial Drive crash is due in court later today. Documents we obtained show Hermeldo Lopez was behind the wheel of the Ford F-550 plow truck, the first of two vehicles to strike 34-year-old Vanessa Perez back in February. Authorities say Lopez, a South Hadley native, denied any wrongdoing when approached by police and also denied their request for an interview to tell his side of the story. After a search of the truck, investigators found blood under the left side of the plow's blade. Lopez will be answering to charges for leaving the scene of personal injury and death and negligent operation of motor vehicle.